Hi, my name's Steve Walker from Promise Money, and I want to talk to you about small bridging loans. Are you looking for a small bridging loan for either home improvements, refurbishment, business purposes? And the reason I'm asking that question is there is a perception and a reality that most lenders are looking for bigger ticket bridging loans. When I say bigger ticket, I mean 125, 150,000 pounds upwards into the millions. And that's because a lot of these lenders are focused on big ticket development projects, okay? But there are lots of people who need smaller loans and they need a bridging loan. And typical scenarios could be 40 or 50,000 pounds because you are looking to make some improvements to your home prior to selling it. Now that could be a home that you live in, and that would be a regulated bridging loan because it's a property that you live in. Or it could be a property that you are buying or already own and you want to do it up and make some improvements to it prior to either renting it or refurbishing the property. So the key thing here is there are lenders that will do smaller bridging loans. So if we just take regulated loans first, and this is a scenario, I suppose, as I've mentioned, is a property you live in, but it could be a property that you own and live in, but you want to develop in the back garden. So it's turning more into a development loan. There are lenders who will do loans from £40,000 upwards for you to develop a property in your back garden or to improve a property secured on your main residence. And of course, because it's secured on your main residence, you can still use it for other purposes. You might have a buy-to-let portfolio that you want to improve, but you don't have the equity in it. You could secure it on your main residence, and it could be by way of a first charge, or if you've already got a mortgage in place, by way of a second charge. In fact, there are some lenders that will even do third charges. So £40,000 for regulated loans. If you're looking for a non-regulated loan, and by that I mean it's either 100% for business purposes and maybe a second charge loan, or it's secured on a buy-to-let property or commercial property of some sort, then there are lenders that will go down as low as potentially even £20,000. So don't think that just because you're looking for a small amount, you can't get a bridging loan. You potentially can. Now, an important thing to remember about bridging loans is that even though you're borrowing, let's say, £40,000, with bridging loans, very often you can borrow the interest on the loan as well, which means you haven't got to make any repayments, which helps your cash flow. All the repayments are added onto the loan, and the downside of that is you pay the interest at the end, which is an upside for some people, but it does mean that if you're borrowing £40,000 and you're paying it over a certain period of time, the loan amount you're actually borrowing is more than £40,000. It could be closer to £50,000 by the time all the interest is added on, and that £50,000 or whatever that number is becomes your gross loan, and that's what the lender will work on for equity purposes. So just bear that in mind. You know, a net loan of £40,000 by the time you've added your fees and interest on top is going to be a higher amount. To help manage your expectations on these smaller loans, and when I say smaller, I am talking, I suppose, below £75,000. But on these smaller loans, really you should have an expectation. If you borrow, let's say, £40,000, you're probably going to be charged a lender fee, and that's likely to be 2% of the loan amount, and interest rates in the region of 1% per month. So they're not the cheapest, but if they do meet your needs, then it's worth considering. There would also likely to be a valuation charge for getting the property valued, but in some cases there are many lenders who will waive this if it's obvious that the equity is there. So if you've got a straightforward property that's worth, I don't know, £150,000 and you want a first charge of £40,000, there are a lot of lenders that will do electronic valuations, or they'll send somebody around, one of the directors will look at it himself and say, you know what, you don't need a valuation. But factoring costs of 1% per month roughly, and a 2% lender charge on top of the amount that you've borrowed. Okay, so I hope that's helpful. If you do want to find out more about bridging, whether it's a small loan or a large loan, do get in touch with Promise, and you'll find you can subscribe to our channels or go to our website www.promisemoney.co.uk where you can find out more information. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.